Paint it white.
That's all.
So that people leave faster, is that your thinking? Make them uncomfortable. Put it in his chair in there. See if you can do it.
Hi, Miss Ally. Everyone, please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call, please.
Chuck Davis.
Here.
Here.
Councilman Patty Beck. Here. Councilman Doug Barker.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Fleet.
Here.
Are there any additions or changes that people would like to see to the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Everybody had a chance to look at the meetings minutes from the August 6th meeting? Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Is
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the August 6th, 2024 meeting?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll move on to approval of the bills. We have deposits in the amount of $395,694.21. Accounts payable in the amount of $563,490.42. Transmittals in the amount of $13,358.79, and payroll in the amount of $48,957.35. Do I have a motion to pay the bill and approval of the financial report?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, move on. Any correspondence?
No, sir.
No correspondence. We'll move on to the next. We have a special event application. Amendment to the walk, to end Alzheimer's by Randy Carter.
Yeah, school event, she had it tonight, so they just want to amend, originally they wanted to walk around the hot pools and then just around Veterans Island. She wanted to change that to walk north on River Street to Bridge Street and then back to Vets Island by the end, around that way, so she just wanted to,
So we'll be going over the bridge,
yes.
similar to what we did for the 5K. We just want to be clear that if we need flaggers, we'll have them.
Yeah, she,
She said that they would have people before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
how about what distance do they know how many people we have? Participating anyway.
Did not,
50-ish,
50
maybe,
is
yeah.
what she put on here.
Yeah, working with her, we'll make sure we got flaggers where we should get. I don't have any problems.
Good. Do I have a motion to amend the trail that they're gonna walk to, you say north on Bridge to where?
North on River, across the bridge and then back around a bit.
North on River, across the bridge over to Veterans Island and then around. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to amend that.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to reports from departments and town hall and Ms. Ellie. You have the floor.
As always, it's so nice to see you.
Well, that's what we thought too.
Yes, So I have a question that's not on the document that I sent you. Do you have the visitors council leader come and visit y'all or?
Welcome anytime.
So there's a meeting tomorrow morning in Bags, so I'll be there. I'll mention it and see if,
Okay,
okay?
great.
Next question is, do you have any objection to sharing the stamp master plan with them?
Our master plan?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Okay,
none whatsoever. It's,
all right.
it's all public knowledge.
Have we approved the final version of it? Still draft, right?
It's still a draft, the planner,
Yeah.
only made a recommendation to adopt it, but you guys have not adopted.
Right,
We haven't seen it yet.
right. So it's okay
still
for
in
her to see it
draft
as long
one,
as she's
but
aware it's in
yeah.
draft.
They're more than welcome to see it.
Okay. So a couple of things, last time we talked about short-term rentals, just want to make you aware that the Visitors Council has requested funding to do a survey and a complete count of short-term rentals in the county. So if you want to know what those numbers are, after we get their money and after they do the survey, you'll get the numbers.
Now, that'll just be a county-wide number?
No, it should be broken down by
It'll
the
be broken
different,
down by municipality?
yeah, all 11 municipalities. So we'll see what happens next and where the funding comes in, so you'll get an ongoing report about that. We talked last time about signage, and the Visitors Council will fund signage. The only thing they require is that anything that they fund, they get to put Discover Carbon County logo on it. Seems like a reasonable thing to me. You okay with that? So the question they asked was, how involved do you want to be in the design of the sign? My suggestion would be let them do the research, marketing, design and all the rest of that. Get 3 to pick from and pick one you like.
Sure.
Yeah, simple, straightforward. I have a list that I created and with a little help from my friends. And if you'd like to add anything on to this, clearly the community center, the museum, the Hobo Pool, the public pool, boat ramp, Veterans Island and the library.
And the lake.
Lake,
The lake, okay. Anything else?
hospital?
There is a hospital.
We have
site.
Museum. Museum.
It's
I got
It's
that
there.
one.
There.
Yeah.
What about the golf course?
The golf course is.
Privately owned.
Private.
Say the airport. The airport, I don't know.
The airport, why not? I mean, if we're asking, we might as well ask for everything, right?
What do you think about the school?
Yeah, I was wondering about
It's not
that.
really it kind of is, kind of isn't.
Well, if you're having meets here, I think that makes sense.
Library, I was thinking library and school too.
I got the library, but let me ask about school.
Yeah.
What the thinking is about that. Okay. I did talk to Emery about this. One of the things that was raised by the Visitors Council, apparently there's some kind of rules about where signs can be placed on 130. And Emery very generously volunteered to say that he would take the interface to YDOT to make sure that we did whatever.
And so if we stay 30 feet off of the edge line, we have a lot more design flexibility. If we come inside that, then we're gonna have breakaways and all that jazz. So I think we're the two that we have those locations existing. We probably got a lot of design latitude
Okay.
right there.
So I think we'll get settled on which signs, what the signs look like, and then we'll talk about where we want to put them.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if there's any conflict and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so to get it fixed, they have 29 permits, what they. And 75.
Okay.
So I got you on that.
All right, we got that covered. So the next thing is, do you want to change your brand? So Cindy Luce talks about brand, what's the brand of the town? And so here, for many decades, it's where the fish jump into Main Street. You want to change to something that is more representative of what Saratoga really is. So suggestions I collected, adventure starts here. And that not only covers Saratoga, but it covers the valley. So it kind of makes you like that entry point into the valley. A small town, big adventures, or trailhead to the mountains or trailhead to adventures. Now, this is not something that has to be decided today, but it's something to think about. Where the fish jump into Main Street really applies to history, where the fish were just hauled out of the river and then they'd have a big fish fry. So we probably need to move on from that, I would think. So think about it and I'll bring it up again next time we come around. And then the next thing here is a whole list of activities that I would argue make it about adventures. Fishing, floating, ski joring, bull fest, snowmobiling, brew fest, wood choppers jamboree, cowboy gathering. Then you have the Continental Divide Trail, mining, tie hacking, and logging. So you have all this stuff going on that starts here in Saratoga. So kind of just think about it. We can add to this list as we get a little further along and say what we really want to call ourselves.
Could we maybe consider doing flyers and posting a little QR code people can scan and do a quick survey and cast their vote so community members could contribute to their vote on things?
I'm sure that's really easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and visitors, I would assume would pay, it's advertising of some kind, like we're gathering information potentially. Or on the website. I mean, it's a snap to put a survey together. And it could just be really simple and just, hey, we're thinking to rebrand our town. What do you think? What are you interested in? Let people vote?
My background would tell you this, that you need to have like 5 suggestions.
Yeah, for sure.
Because write-in votes, it's not that people might not on occasion write in, but that's harder and people have to think about it. So let's mention this next month and we'll say.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that we talked about last time was, the Visitors Council was asking if we could identify where you find visitor information. Because if you come from either end of the town, you don't know where to find it. So there's a typo in point B here. So here's what I know. The part of the electronic sign was funded by the Visitors Council. And there's a contract between the Visitors Council and the electronic sign. And you, the town, also have a contract about the sign, and you have a certain number of times that you can put things on the sign. So Amanda Notwell is researching, okay, how do we get like one little thing up there that says visitors information at Valley Community Center or the street address or something, just so that when people are coming and going, they know where to find it. So I'll be back with this might take a little while, but eventually we'll get there.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. The sign's very helpful.
Mhm.
The sign is wonderful, complete off topic, but I had the airplane that was coming in,
Mhm.
put up on the sign.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
And when the plane showed up, there were people everywhere. It was spectacular. So the sign and the newspaper, and it was wonderful. Okay, let's talk about cleaning up the county. So the Visitors Council wants to clean up town, then they want to clean up the county. You want to clean up the town. So talk to Emery about this. There's some replacement of the street signs already in progress, which I am going to make a big deal about that you're already doing this. Then this is me asking you to consider removing unused signs and poles. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but it will clean things up. You'll find the Rocky Mountain Outfitter sign. Yeah. It's inaccurate and it's deteriorating. There are poles at the corner of southwest corner of Bridge and 130 is a sign that has nothing in it. It's just white metal and some lights. It's underneath where Teets always stands when he's doing the thing about the parade. Go out and take a look. It's just hanging out there. Southwest
It's the
corner.
old standard station, right? Where that, yeah. Huh.
Where Shepherd is now. Then there are two poles at the corner of Bridge and River. They're just hanging out there. And there's one on the Mom's Kitchen property that now belongs to Turtle. There's one, so here's the cattle fence. And then right in the middle is a big white metal pole, doesn't do anything, it's just kind of hanging out. And I just drove around town and looked. So I'm asking if you would consider, do a little more looking and see if there aren't things that, they don't have to be big things, just like the little stuff, what we could do. Doesn't really cost anything. And then we here in the valley have we have cleanup days, first week of May every year. Here in Saratoga, it's Friday and Saturday. In Encampment, it's Saturday and Sunday. So I spoke with the chairman of the landfill and said that I thought that it would be helpful if we had a little more promotion, that we start earlier in the year. And I'm asking that you consider doing that too. Get it out so that the particulars of what the landfill will take, if you are registered at the landfill as someone who pays a monthly fee, there's a whole bunch of things that normally there's a charge for and they're free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am sure that we could get the landfill chairman to consider some other options if there's more that you want to add to that list or you want to change the way that cleanup days work. And finally, I would ask, could you consider taking while you're looking at poles and thinking about cleanup, could you look and see if you have any safety or fire hazards that need to be addressed? And I'm asking this because I would like to report to the Visitors Council that you're kind of taking under your wing to look at what you could do that's not terribly expensive. It just takes a little bit of effort. Okay,
Mhm.
that's it. Any questions you would like me to take to the visitors council tomorrow?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm working on a couple of things.
Okay, so I will be there tomorrow, and if you have questions or you have ideas, I'll be going every month and every month.
Did they? I just need to ask why they want to look at the walking path program.
No, that is, they are not asking, I was asking.
Oh,
And here's why, what I see coming is Cindy Luce is working on a thing called destination development. And which is it's a really
Mhm.
good idea. And in that, your stamp master plan is a really great description of developing the destination of the hobo pool, the swimming pool, Veterans Island, and what that cleanup might look like. And I would say that, we're not building a new rec center, what we're doing is we're taking what we have and we're developing what's already
developing
here.
it, sure.
So I would like to share that with them,
And that's the best way to go, develop what we have.
develop what we have.
And we're kind of limited to what we can do at the hot springs
Right.
because of the way the contract's all set up from when it was donated.
We can really develop that portion of the river where it feeds in.
Yeah,
Right.
That's one of the ideas that was looked at. You'll see that when you get the master plan. For this.
that part of the river, what do you mean?
Just development of the access to the river from
From
the
the hot
boat
down.
ramp along that, make it more accessible where the hot springs are in the river. They did some mock-ups where it's just safer and more accessible. There's a little trail there, so it can be ADA compliant and they're reasonable price tags on that.
On the down side of the river because the
Yeah.
tenors
Yeah.
private.
Yeah. And then we looked at, also along that, we applied for a grant, didn't get it, but we thought it looked pretty good to do. And we would have probably done a lot of what is in this,
Yeah.
this master plan you're gonna get,
Hmm.
but we didn't get the grant.
But we've got the documentation prepared
Sure.
and all the things that we can, that are just ready
Yeah.
to submit other grants, so.
So I mean, it's actually a pretty good idea, I think, that part is to develop that. Right, you know how people go down and get in the river to get out of the hot and everything. Make it a little nicer and a little more convenient. Open it up a little bit so law enforcement can see from a distance without, So there.
There was like a parking lot,
Yeah.
that was really nice too.
Improving the boat, being able to pull more boats.
Yeah,
Up out of the way, but be not in the willows.
Yeah.
And also have maybe the bathroom in there.
in the back.
It's kind of a cool little, how they.
It'd be nice if we had a bridge so we could use all that
I
up
think-
there.
Yeah.
I think long term, that's a really good idea is how we connect the bottom to the top conveniently. So
Yeah.
people can use, there's a ton of parking up there.
Yeah,
For parking.
Yeah.
The other,
that block.
The whole drive sometimes.
yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
The old box culvert.
the other thing I would mention that if you label this destination development and there happen to be funds or grants that the visitors council were going after, you could piggyback on that, and that might get you an advantage to making it happen.
Yeah.
Can't hurt to try.
No,
As always, it's been a pleasure. I'll look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for
Ellie.
the report. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to Pine Cove's quote.
This is for our Sophos central email. It's 36 months. 1,882.44. Sophos is what guards our email, like our
Firewalls.
firewall. Thank you.
Is that go up? Last year,
So Assuming it's 36 months, I haven't paid anything like this, so I'm assuming before me, so it was a 36-month thing prior, so I didn't look into it, to see what it was.
One of those necessities, we gotta have it. I mean, he come down and worked on all the computers after we were hacked to make sure nothing else was done with these. They've been pretty good.
This is a company you're already using?
They identify the reason or how the hack happened.
It wasn't on our end.
Okay. And the safeguards they had in place were enough to alert you that it had
No,
happened?
I just caught it. I watch our bank account every day and I just caught things were
Yeah.
going through our account.
So it's not related to this security,
No, that's not.
this firewall, okay.
There's people check that.
But I'll move to pay it. I'll make a move to pay this
Okay,
invoice.
do I have a second to that?
I'll second.
Pine Cove. In the amount of $1,882.44. I have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's it. We'll move on to the police department. Mr. Chief,
Well, your list is really long this time.
It is long and involves the possibility of spending some money, so I apologize for that.
We liked last time when you didn't spend any.
Right.
I did too. Just preliminary stuff, since the last council meeting, we had 205 calls for service. As you know, we've been looking diligently, seeing if we could find some vehicles. About the time that we get to the point where we find a couple of vehicles that we think will work. By the time we get to come and ask you about it, they're going quick. We did find a couple of vehicles here that I think will fit the bill. Can't say it's exactly what I would like to see for this, but
A Ford on here there, Mayor.
yeah, there's two actually. We were able to find, and these actually just hit this business yesterday. There's a 2016 Ford Explorer that you'll see. Well, first of all, I think which one do I have it on? We'll start with the 2018, that's second on the list. 2018 Ford Explorer. It actually is fully equipped. The only thing that it really doesn't have is the computer electronics, the radio system and a radar. Those things that we pretty much have, with the exception of maybe a mount, would come out of one of our existing vehicles and go. This vehicle here has 34,055 miles. It has 1,256 engine idle hours. They were listing it for $26,995. When I called and told them if we were to buy it, we'd like to get maybe both of these. They knocked $500 off the list price, and that also will include, if we buy two of them, they'll ship them to us for that price as well.
for this price?
So the price that the bill of sale that you've got there got both vehicles listed on it. So we could have both vehicles delivered to Saratoga, Wyoming for $47,990. The black one has got a prisoner transport cage in it. I went through the Carfaxes. They look like I see no issues at all in the Carfaxes. The white vehicle you'll see there has a little bit more mileage on it, 36,797. It has a few less engine idle hours. I think it was down to 975 engine. This vehicle really caught my eye for a couple of reasons. One, it's very clean, the low idle hours. When I called to check, the Carfax on it is good as well. When I called to check on it, this was actually a fire department vehicle. So that kind of piqued my interest a little bit, because firemen usually don't drive things quite as hard as cops do. So it's just the way they drive them and stuff. So, for Mr. Barkhurst, I did check on a service contract. We can get one. I don't have any prices on them yet. They were unable to get me the prices. We were looking at Laramie GM was gonna write them for us through a fleet deal. He's not capable of writing them until the end of this month. We can't get them on that, so. So the delivery price, $47,990. I think that probably the only additions that I foresee in that is possibly up to around $7,000 is what we talked about before for the service contracts. I expect it to be about the same price. We may not be able to get as many months or mileage out of that. I think it was 72 months and 70,000. Looking at Tahoe's. Not so sure we'll be able to get that because they're a little bit of vehicles, but we'll find out for sure. I would probably only decal and strike the black one at this presently. For $750. I think the white one, since it does not have a cage, we'll probably just put those shoulder patch decals on the shoulder. So it'll be marked. It just won't be fully marked with the whole Saratoga school colors and all that at this time. Maybe an option later on. But right now, just to save a little bit of money, I think we do this. The other thing that we'll need for the white car is a computer mount and a dock, and I'm anticipating about $1,100. We did that. No prisoner cage in this one yet, for the same reason, not knowing exactly which way we're gonna go with it, but I think it'll do us good right now. I would probably take that white one just because it doesn't have a prisoner cage right now. The other one does, so everything else will be equipped, ready to go. So, have any questions? I would.
How much did you budget for vehicles?
There's $100,000 that's budgeted for vehicles at this point. And one thing about it, I'm really trying to be kind of frugal for two reasons. One, because it's the right thing to do. The other thing is, we could still have a little bit of money set aside either going into next year, or if something happens, we might have a little bit of something to fall back on. We do have the one white Explorer. It's actually down in the shop right now, down in Laramie. I wasn't here, but I anticipated having to put some repairs into it if we kept it. That has come to pass. It's down getting the repairs on it. So to the tune of about $5,000 as we talked before. So, but that should get a few more miles out of it.
Were you planning, remind me, sorry, were you planning to offload one or
Actually,
getting rid of anything?
there's actually 3 vehicles that I've got an email into Kylie asking her the exact steps that we need to do, but there's 3 vehicles that they aren't worth a whole lot for trade, but we had talked about just being able to put them up for auction or for bid.
Right.
And when we do that, there'd be a truck that I'm driving right now, the part-time truck, and then the older, well, it's the newer truck, but it's the one that hasn't any lights on it or anything for a period of time. We will get rid of all of those.
But now will you use the radios and stuff out of the ones you're wanting to get rid of to outfit these with then?
Yes, with the exception of, we do have one brand new radio that was purchased off of a grant. It's actually sitting in a box that we will put in one of these as well. But everything else will just be, with the exception of those items that I talked about. There may be a couple of things when we actually get them here that we may have to dabble a little bit, but for the most part, I think that'll take care of it.
Well,
I would move to jump on this one.
yeah. Especially with the free shipping.
Yeah, I think because they're waiving that shipping, more than a $500 savings, I think, to bring it here from,
Yeah, they were.
from Chicago. Yeah.
$900,000 is what they paid before
Yeah.
they each, yes.
Yeah. So I'll move to go ahead with this purchase of these 2 vehicles for the police department.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in discussion anymore? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And get with Miss Karina tomorrow and these guys and we'll get a check cut.
Well, yeah, I'll we've got a bill of sale. We'll get this first thing in the morning, fax back to them. That way they'll hold it for us. So we'll do that first thing.
Okay.
So thank you guys very much. I appreciate it. That'll be a welcome addition to the fleet because I've I'm real worried about that, so I appreciate that. The second thing on our list, I believe, was the ammunition quote. I had a couple of the guys go and look for some ammunition quote. This ammunition is to replace ammunition that's older and also will help provide us with our getting back into the swing of things for our qualifications and our firearms training, which we need to really hit kind of hard. So really what we did, we ended up with a quote for $1,138. We actually presented that to Coyote Sports and they will match that quote. So we can spend the money right here in town. So with your approval, I will get with Coyote Sports and get that.
I have a motion.
I'd make a motion.
I have a second to that, to approve the buying of this ammunition.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Checks go on. So the next item on here is our Converge One contract. This is the company that actually maintains and keeps track of our 911 system. We monitor it constantly to make sure we're not having any problems. And if we do have any issues, they are really good about coming in and fixing it for us and seeing what we need. This has been a contract that actually I think the price has stayed pretty much the same for quite a period of time. So $7,812.96 for the year. That is something that's already been, or it is accounted for in the budget.
Questions?
So we're just renewing the contract we have with Converge, is that what
Yes.
we're looking to
Yeah,
do?
we're just re-upping it.
And it's a year.
Yes.
Is this the one that we use just here, or is this the one that's the full system that connects all the other towns?
This one is, well, it does two things. One, it takes care of our 911 system here. And then it also does the monitoring and everything for the network.
The county.
This is solely ours.
What was the total on that?
$7,812.96.
I'll move to renew the contract for Converge in the amount of $7,812.96.
You have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. The next one, 14, is to kind of let you know where we are with the 911 system. As I think you're very well aware, because I've whined about it several times, but our 911 system is antiquated. It's actually not even serviceable right now. So we just kind of cross our fingers and hope that nothing happens. But we are getting closer to getting a little bit of a Band-Aid. It's kind of getting some other equipment that at least is serviceable that will replace this. And then it will come with very little cost to that. So just wanted to update you. I'm not asking for any money. I just want you to know that that's kind of in the works. And the Converge One folks are kind of in helping with that as well. So they'll help us get everything set up once we get it. Next item I had on there was the K9 lease agreement. We've talked several times over the last year and a half or so about a K9 program, how beneficial I think that it would be. Officer Casey Lear has purchased a K9. He's got the K9. He paid out a fairly significant amount of money, sum of money to purchase this K9 on his own. He's still in the training process. But I would like to enter into a K9 lease agreement with Officer Lear. Basically, what this will do is for the care and maintenance of the K9, it'll give him 1 hour of base pay a day in order to take care of that. Similar to what we did with Officer Kasner before. It has been that, let's see, they would amount to $352.65 per pay period. And I forgot you got a calculator with you, 9,100. Tell you what it is yearly, so.
350 something times 26.
352.65.
How long before the dog's on the street?
I'm figuring about 90 days right now, so 60 to 90 days.
How old is the dog?
It's 2 years old.
It's the only dog that we have.
It is right now. We're
Yeah.
working on another one too, but there'll be no cost to that one at all for the town.
It's 9,168.90.
And this would be, if we enter into the agreement, I have this agreement has, Patrick's looked it over. It is the same agreement that we had last year with the exception of he added some legalese to it, some indemnification clause, a little bit of wording to it. So, but it is basically the same as what we had before. So it's been approved.
Where would liability fall?
There, basically the liability is, let me go back to tell you what the lease is. The leasee shall be liable for any act or omission of a canine causing bodily injury or property damage while the canine is performing law enforcement operations on the leasee's behalf. Canine shall be considered property of the leasee and under the leasee's control. So the town does accept some liability to it, but nothing that it's outside what its actual functions. Yes, so.
It's strictly a drug dog, correct?
At this point, yeah.
At this point, you're planning on making it more?
Yeah, there's a possibility.
We need to have a discussion on that.
Okay.
When
Right now,
it comes time, no. Okay,
Yeah.
Make a motion to table it.
352 and change. Take care of the dog.
Yeah.
It was 352 what per pay period?
352.65.
Pay period.
And he's in training. How long has he been in training?
Oh, he did some training when he was down in Colorado, but we're kind of starting over.
And who's paying for the training?
Between the officer and some of it's being donated. But the officers, there's a part in here too, that the initial costs and certifications is his responsibility, not ours.
And this is no different than what we approved previously for.
That's correct.
Yeah. So we're just paying to cover some of the expense of the upkeep for the dog.
At this point, yes.
I would move to, it's been
I have
reviewed.
a motion on the table to
Right.
pay that.
Who moved? I heard a table. I'm moving to pay it. I heard a
Didn't-
table.
I made a motion to table it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna second the table. I'm gonna make a motion to go ahead and pay it. We've done it in the past. It was approved by the attorney. And it makes sense to me to cover some of that expense for him.
No, before you make it, do I have a second on the table? Tabling it for right now. Jerry made a motion.
I'd like to actually read the documents that.
Sure.
So, yeah, I would second the table motion until we can read the documents and go through them. Cause I've never seen the documents you're holding.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to table this until after more research is done on the documents. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay. Like we'll table it for right now, get these guys copies of the documents.
Absolutely.
And this was all drawn up by an attorney and everything. So,
Yeah.
all right,
Yep. Sounds
we'll
good.
table that one for till the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Okay,
The number 16 was, I just wanted to dispatch group. I just wanted to kind of update you that we've not made a lot of progress between the sheriff and Chief Ward and I. Summer, I think, but we have had discussions and we're planning on making some trips out of town to view some of these other dispatch centers to see how they're doing and then talk with the folks. I just wanted to keep that kind of in the front of everybody's mind, and we're still moving forward on it because it was kind of a big deal and I don't want it to go by the wayside. The last thing I have, fortunately, is the MDT laptop computers. We had budgeted $1,600 for the laptops. For the cars, this is what we use in the vehicles for our, pretty much everything we do at this point, reporting system and everything. So we had purchased one MDT for $549.99. We did find two more of the computers for that, or with that same price. However, if we bought both of those, that would take me over the $1,600 budget just a little bit. But if we use the $1,600, we'd be at actually $49.97 sans the shipping. But I do have money in the budget to cover the rest of that out of the rest of the equipment budget.
What do they use for, Mike?
We use them for everything. The reporting system. When we're doing our reports in the cars, we can get the calls, we can look up information. We have the ability to access the state computers to run driver's licenses and license plates from the cars as well. So we can access the cameras for the hot pool, all kinds of stuff we do with them.
And you have one in every vehicle?
We have one in every vehicle. This will give us one spare that I plan on actually keeping in dispatch because there have been times that we lose our dispatch computers. So it's a ruggedized computer, so I'd rather have it in dispatch. We do have another laptop, but it's a little not ruggedized.
Are they up to date on
Yes.
software and licensing and everything?
Yep.
So you're looking to hit that $1,600 that you have set aside and exceed that?
Exceed that, yeah. We'll use the $1,600. That will take up the $1,600, and then I will have $49.97 that we'll take out of the budget for equipment, and there'll be some shipping on that as well too. But we can cover that off of our other equipment budget. Because this was impact money, I believe, is what we said, $1,600.
So actually you're short two computers right now, is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, we're sharing.
I would move to purchase the laptop.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mike, when you get some more information about the dispatch plan, when you've gathered some stuff, can we plan to do another community meeting like we did the last time, just to inform folks?
Yes, and we've been asked to do one up in Rollins and
Yeah.
a couple of the other places as well.
I figured, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to the fire department. There's no rep here. What I'll report was we did get our new fire truck from Rollins. It's used. I was over with the fire department the other night looking at it. Like the truck, they're very excited. They're gonna wear it out opening the hood, I swear. But anyway, and then one we purchased from Rock Springs, the ladder truck. It's at the shop. They had they wanted to replace 2 or 3 hydraulic hoses on it. It had small seeps in them. Even though it had passed inspection, they wanted to replace those. So we should be getting that. I would say within the next couple of weeks, and it'll be here. They haven't fully decided on what they're gonna do with engine number 4. That's the one they rebuilt the pump on. They have to turn it way down. They can't pump at full volume or probably blow it out. But anyway, they haven't fully decided. They may be coming to us to go out to sell it. So that's all I've got on the fire department. We'll move on to the recreation department. I want to acknowledge our new rec director, Carter Edwards, and he will be taking the show from here.
Thank you. I guess first action item I have is the rec assistant.
Okay.
It would be Kelsey Huntoon, I believe her name is,
Okay,
at 18.02 an hour with benefits.
okay. And I have sat in with Carter when he visited with her. This is going way back to when we talked about this before, to give an assistant over there to take some of the pressure off one person trying to do so much. They're gonna have to work together on their policy manual. Because we don't have a policy manual set up directly for an assistant. So they'll be working on that together as they continue to run recreation department. I believe Carter said some of his plans, for next year will be that when things slow down over here, the rec assistant will probably be the pool manager. They'll take care of that part. So there'll be some training involved there and everything. So
I thought that we approved a part-time person.
We
When-
did that, and that was without them taking over the pool manager role as well. So it's basically during the off season from the pool, you kind of get busier at the rec center. And therefore, I mean, because currently we have adult softball, we have flag football coming up,
Yeah,
basketball for the schools, volleyball for the schools.
yeah, it makes sense. I don't want to interrupt you, but we approved a part-time
we
position.
approved the pool.
No,
it was-
because it did not include benefits and it was part-time.
Hours.
So I think that we need to create a position that combines the two. Because right now, if you look at the org chart, it would be the rec director, a part-time assistant for you in the off season, in the non-pool season. It's really not, it's really the season. And then a full-time pool manager in the summer season. So I think that we need to make an amendment to the actual roles that we have in that budget for that department. My understanding is right now we had a motion to hire pool manager and staff, a rec director, full-time with benefits, and a part-time assistant at the gym with no benefits. So I just want us to make sure I mean, it makes sense to have a person serve both purposes. I totally get that, Carter. I just want us to make sure we've got it lined out correctly in our books.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we have a budget to cover a full-time rec or assistant rec director?
That's what we're looking at right now. When, the way I envision it in my head is when she's working for the swimming pool at the swimming pool, that will be pulled out of the swimming pool budget.
Correct.
And so we can,
Change her role.
yes, and so inside the system, we can delegate where she is being billed to. It's not gonna be full-time rec all the time. It'll be rec and then it'll be switched over to the pool. And so I believe.
But the problem is the
there.
benefits. Because we had said part-time rec assistant and full-time pool manager, but no benefits for either. So that's a significant, oh, she's declining.
Benefits.
Okay, well, that, I think, if we,
Yeah, you got enough
Yeah.
fat in there between,
I
I
think
think that
it's-
was the decision that was on the table at the time, and we had never actually made the decision whether we were gonna go that route,
yeah,
whether we're gonna go full-time or not. So now we're at that point in time where we've gotta make that decision. Are you gonna combine them?
Yeah.
Do the pool manager and the rec assistant together and and you no longer have a pool manager position.
right,
You have a rec assistant who is your pool
Pool
manager.
yeah.
Which
Right.
I think is an outstanding idea for.
Yeah.
So I think that we need to make it official so that it's auditable on this decision we're making. To consolidate and have an updated description of that position. Even if we just do that, if we say we hire her, that she's the rec assistant at 18.02 an hour. And then make amendments to that position description so that it covers all year. And so that it's clear
You guys,
what we expect to, what we anticipate to use that person for.
you guys could make a motion to establish that position before
Yeah.
you made the motion to hire, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that would be the smart thing to do. And she's not gonna step in now. We're gonna let Tyler finish out the season this year.
Yeah,
So she would start working over at the gym with you.
Tyler's gonna finish off.
When does she have the necessary training and stuff
Um,
to carry that role at the?
She would obtain her CPO licensure, first aid, all of that.
And potentially lifeguard certification and or water aerobics or aerobics instruction, those kinds of things that are in the current description. It's your description, I think, for the rec director. So if we could supplement that, I think that again. Cool. Is she from here?
Not from here, been here quite a while.
She was, when we interviewed, she.
I mean, does she live here? I'll put it that way.
Yes.
I don't care if she's from here. I mean, she lives there. So
She did awesome.
that's great.
She interviewed for that position.
It was very impressive.
According to what little I discussed with the board, it was a very tough decision that they made.
Right.
I think we are doing well.
Keeps him in his place, I guess.
Uh,
I would make a motion for us to amend the current description for the pool manager and the rec assistant so that we accommodate for both those positions. But I do like the way we have it, sorry. I know that we have it written now where as they get certified, are we going to apply that same principle to a raise? Because right now, as they get certified as pool manager, CPO, they started at a starting rate, CPO, lifeguard cert, certain instructor training, that type of thing, they get a raise. Do we plan to follow that same principle? I'm looking at you. I don't know why I'm looking at you, Emery, but
no,
it's a general question
That was part of why we bumped
in the
that.
description. Start pay.
That start payout, because we're trying to get more towards like, okay, we're gonna hire you to do this. And these are the things you need to go do so you can do your job. Now that Pandora's box opens with, like, I mean, you can go get OSHA certified, you can get this certified, you can
Yeah.
get that certified. It's like, where do we cut that off?
Sure.
But there are significant, like, when you're go to post, you know, like as a police officer, when you actually become an officer, like that's a monumental step. Like when you get a driver's license, your job description changes.
Yeah.
Sure. It could be beneficial at the end of the year.
Right.
Raise wise.
Yeah. Tell me your name
okay, I
again.
have a motion on the table.
All right, so I'll say that again. I'll move to hire Kelsey Huntoon as the recreation assistant, pending some changes that we'll make to those job descriptions between pool and rec.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'd second.
Make the changes first.
I'll make the changes first. I'm not gonna pend it. So let's say,
Now pending.
yeah, not pending, with the assumption, make those changes to description.
And that's gonna take a little bit
It
to,
will, yeah,
basically, you're writing the new policy
yeah.
and we'll adopt that when it comes out.
Job description.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor of hiring Kelsey to this position as rec assistant, full-time with benefits at $18.02 an hour.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, next action item is the rehire of Jillian Jordan at $13 an hour, no benefits for the open gym supervisor. She did it last year, took time off the summer, wants to come back and do it again during the school year.
She's making 15,
13.
13?
It's 12 last year, it's 13.
I'll move to rehire Jillian at $13 an hour, part-time, no benefits.
Discuss, or do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a little discussion, now with, how many of them do you have now, Carter?
Today's Sadie's last day. She goes back to school. Then I have Gunnar Henry, who said he's willing to do it, but we get there till about 6:45
Okay,
and open gym starts at 6.
okay.
So Jillian would be the only.
Basically, you only have two.
Two
Mhm.
Okay,
currently.
Well, does Kelsey plan to do a little bit of the open gym
Yeah, that'd
coverage?
be part of.
Yeah, okay.
As well.
So you think we can get by with just one, maybe two going into the season, or we're gonna continue to look for people?
I've already spoken to other high school kids, and once they're done with their specific sports, I've expressed interest in it, so.
It's like 20 hours a week, is it? Or less, 10?
Yeah, well, because currently it's not open on Saturdays because not
Coverage,
staff it.
Yeah.
But if we keep it that way until we get more, it's about 12 hours. So
Is it
15 hours.
4 hours per evening, 3 in the evening? Monday through Friday.
Any more discussion?
Saturdays when we can, right?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Yeah, other than that, just to kind of give you guys a heads up, what we got going on is like football starts. I've sent out registration forms. They're due by September 3rd. The season will be from the 16th of September till October 18th. And then other than that, we have adult softball, which has been underway for a few weeks. We extended it another week, and it will be ending August 29th. And that is pretty much it.
Okay, any questions for Carter?
Need anything over there? Getting all settled in?
How many softball teams did you have?
With just the week's notice, there's four of 13 or more on each team.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine with more notice and more lined out next year, it'll be probably at least 2 more.
It used to be huge here.
Mhm.
I was curious.
I haven't even got anybody from encampment or.
I'll bet you're getting 2 more next year. Any other questions?
Nope.
Thanks, Carter.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Department of Public Works.
Lots of exciting things going on. Got cop cars and bullets and softball.
Oh, my.
Fire trucks. And a wreck director and a wreck assistant. Like, the boat was afloat. I liked it. So,
Water and sewer and fixing streets, and it is exciting.
it is exciting. The first thing on the docket for me, so we withdrew our level 2 application for a study on getting another water tank. And decided that, with talking to the state, they thought it was best that we just went ahead and go level 3 and try to get the thing built and get funding for it. There's actually some funding the state has approved for redundant water storage. That is a pretty rare deal. They haven't done that before, so we actually have an opportunity to maybe capitalize on that. So I'm getting ready to submit that application, and as part of that application, I have to have a resolution town authorizing the submittal of the application. So that's what the resolution is for. So that's an opportunity for us to hopefully get some good cost sharing on that project to help get it built. Hopefully 30 to 40% is kind of what I'm hoping. So we get approved for this, probably design in the spring and construction in the fall, hopefully, or the following spring. What we're looking at.
So we're just looking to
Yeah, we just need to approve that resolution.
approve the resolution.
Yeah, the application is due here in a couple weeks.
We need to read just the title, or are you reading the whole thing?
No, we'll have to read the whole resolution.
Read it.
Or- Town of Saratoga Resolution Number 2024-2. As purpose and need has been established by prior studies, the Town of Saratoga Town Council makes the following resolution. A resolution in support of filing an application to the Wyoming Water Development Commission for a level 3 construction project and funding application for improvements to the town's treated water facilities. Whereas the governing body of the Town of Saratoga supports filing a level 3 construction and funding application to the Wyoming Water Development Commission. Whereas it has been determined by prior WWDC studies that it is beneficial for the Town of Saratoga to seek funding from Wyoming Water Development Commission to make improvements to its treated water storage facilities. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the Town of Saratoga, Wyoming, that an application be submitted to the Wyoming Water Development Commission for a level 3 construction and funding application for the improvement to the town's treated water storage facilities. Passed and approved and adopted this 20th day of August, 2024.
Yeah, I have a motion to go ahead and accept this resolution number 2024-02.
I'll make a motion to do the resolution 2024-2.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, thank you. As far as the big water project goes, everybody drives by, we're kind of out of that main drag, with a little road more cleanup to do there. We're headed towards the hot pool, swimming pool, and getting that loop done there, getting plumbing inside the hot pool building rearranged. So we're plugging away at that. And then another thing that's kind of come up is there's a possibility, how we got some ARPA money for this River Street project, that if there's leftover money that does not get allocated before October 1st, the state is going to let applicants for projects who have already been approved possibly apply for that funding and get additional funding on top of that to make their projects bigger. So we'll be keeping an eye on that timeline, and if that comes up, we're going to want to jump on that. And we could, there's tons of things we could do over there as far as making that project bigger. We could, bore under the highway for Elm Street or something. If they're going to hand out money, I suggest we take it. So we'll keep an eye on that. Kind of in the same topic of applications, we're working through this big sewer project that we got. That includes, it's part special purpose tax funded, and then SRF funding and principal forgiveness for the rest. It's the 2 crossings for the river, the sewer lines for the river. It's all the clay, a bunch of clay lines up on the hill. And that application is due in October, but it's fairly extensive, so we're plugging away at that. I'm working on the environmental. I will have probably a little task order from EA to help get that Fonzie done. With being in the river, we'll probably have to do that. So Copez is working up a little deal. They got a guy in their office, out in a different office, that's got some time to help us on that. So we get that put in, come October, and maybe get awarded here after the first of the year. That would be a pretty sweet deal. We could start design on it, and maybe depending on what construction looks like. Those river crossings are probably October, November projects, so we might be able to get kicking on one of those. But that's going to be a big project, thinking about $3.2 million. All that. So, but capitalizing hopefully on some free money.
Free's good.
Never free.
Well, that's not a good adjective, but
Available funds.
available, thank you, available funds. We dialed in on the airport lift station project, or what ball we think we can go with. We just got a couple of details finalized hopefully here next week, and we get that baby working. Looking at something that's probably about 15 feet for that. Yeah, and that's kind of the big items on the sewer side. Streets, this scheduling wise, well, first I'll go with John Lasko is going to retire September 30th. This is his last day officially. So I did tell him that. I was going to tell all you guys, and we're sad to see him go. It will be hard to find a replacement for. So he's been here for 540 months.
Have you already started advertising for?
Not yet. I asked in weeks past, like it's, but it's for sure. So.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in the department that could step in
We got some people I think who are interested and.
in that lead position?
Yeah. But we'll just have to walk through that process and see what happens. And then the Greater Road Project, the mill and overlay, right after Labor Day, they're gonna bring the mill in, that's the plan, and start milling. They'll mill for 3 days. And then we'll start overlaying. We'll do half lanes at a time just to try to maintain as good access as we can with people's houses. So again, that's a lot of roads up on the hill. It's 13th Street, 11th, the Brandy, Pick Pike, and CJ. So it'll be quite a bit that goes on during that. But we're thinking about a week and a half to mill and get everything laid down. just be aware of that. And the people who are directly affected, will do the same thing we did with the chip seal. We'll go put door knockers like we did last time. So everybody's kind of aware, hey, shows up.
That worked well.
Yeah, it did. I'm hoping that this goes as smooth as the chip seal did. We've been doing some patching around town, some bigger patches as we can get asphalt. We're doing some painting, some striping, all those other goodies. Parks, we're over there at Never Forget Park. Right now, McVeigh, he's got the backhoe over there. We're putting the water line in. We want to get that in and out of the way of our curb line before we put it in. So we got the water line going. And alongside the water line, we're gonna go ahead and run the power line for the bathroom over there. So that'll all be, that little curb run there that's kind of tight by the jack fence, that'll all be done before we get the curb in there. We shouldn't have to go disturb that again. Next couple steps, fine grading and curb. I think we probably have both those done by the end of September is kind of. And that'll button that up of kind of where we want to be while this LCWF grant comes in. There's money for possibly chip sealing and doing a bathroom and some other stuff, but we want to kind of hold there, and anything we do, they don't back pay. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. And I'm looking right now probably this a men's, family, and women's restroom. We'll probably gonna settle on something creatively stick built. It's probably what we're gonna. I think the precast for the money, once we get into those three, they're just
Very expensive.
very, very expensive. And yeah, it's great. They last forever, but at the same time, if you can build 3 or 4 for the same price. Diminishing returns.
I'm just really glad to see headway being made over there. That was.
That crushed
Where
asphalt.
the Legion is too. So.
Crushed asphalt is working, like we go to chip that, I think that'll work great.
It looks good.
It drains well, it doesn't turn into mud. It's worked out. It gets hard. Yeah, weed and pest, we're still spraying. We have that last week when it was cool. We did call off a few nights because it's 70 degrees out. Not out in full force. We'll go through the beginning of September and see what the weather does if it gets hot again. So far, like we've been trapping, the numbers have been real low. A lot of water that's in town, like puddles and stuff on the side and everything. There's not a lot of habitat with that hot weather. It's drying a lot of stuff up. So let's kind of keep an eye on it, and right through that first week in September is kind of where we're at. Call that. Then off to grant reporting and everything for the weed and pest. That's kind of big things for the DPW department.
Any question for Emery?
That wasn't very exciting.
Jerry's just.
Okay.
I thought it was great.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wasn't as expensive as Mike's though.
No.
I'll wait till he's been up.
We haven't paid
Best is yet. Yeah, best is yet. Planning and zoning wise, or is that where we're at?
Yeah.
That or the water joint power.
Well, yeah, the Water and Joint Powers Board, pretty much wrapped up the sewer ordinances, so I'll format kind of everything they did and get copies over to you. You guys we can look through it, and then if you guys want to do a workshop on it or whatever, or if you're good with it, but we'll have to actually write those in an ordinance form and everything, so it's gonna take me a little bit of time to do that. They've wrapped up altering them as much as they think is necessary. And there wasn't a lot that got changed on that. Planning Commission, any Joint Powers Board questions? The Planning Commission, so the Planning and Zoning Commission made a recommendation to pass a resolution to adopt that stamp plan as an amendment to the 2016 master plan. I've been waiting for hard copies. Are supposed to be coming, and I'll get one to each of you so you guys can look at it, and then we'll have that on the agenda for the 3rd of September for you guys to go over that. Then we had a public hearing on short-term rentals. There was a lot of people that showed up.
28 to be exact.
Yeah, so divided opinions like always. I guess it's hard to summarize really what went on. So the planning and zoning commission is thinking they want to do, they're gonna do a workshop, I get after that. And then we go from there. There was a zone change hearing as well, for a spot up on Bridge that they made a recommendation for you guys to approve. But you guys are also required to hold a public hearing as per ordinance. So September, due to publication timeframes, I was gonna try to get everything in and have it on the 3rd. But when I got off my shoes and counted, it's only 13 days until the 3rd. So we'll have that hearing on the 17th.
In order to make the recommendation or have a hearing to
You
gather info.
have the hearing to gather more info. You guys,
They did not get a second on that one to make the recommendation to amend, right? Now we have to have
recommendation.
to change the zoning.
They did,
They did?
yeah,
I don't recall a second.
yeah, everybody voted aye.
Okay.
I mean, that's why,
On the zone change?
yeah,
Yeah.
No, it was
was
recommended
motion
to
and
come to the
second.
council.
Okay. Can you look at the minutes?
Oh,
I'm,
I didn't get I don't remember a second.
we're talking about the same thing for, on 804 Bridge.
Yeah. To change it from commercial to residential?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all in favor and everybody was all aye.
Okay.
So anyway, September, I can look at that, but September 17th, you have to hold a hearing for a zone change, and if you guys so choose to move forward with it, then we pass it by ordinance, that'll require 3 readings. So,
Okay. I could have missed it.
and that is one that specifically says you guys can't take any action until you have a hearing.
Mhm. Maybe that's where I missed it. No action taken.
I see we got a payment though, V under planning and zoning.
Yep. So that's the last, this is wrapping up that entire, what was anticipated for everything to cost. This is their final invoice. So we won't see anything else for them after this.
I have a question on this one because you've got the studio CPG on there. And we've got a total on the first one where it says total budget remaining to spend, remaining build. So we break even. But then there's $1,000 assessment on the studio CPG where it has a total owed 5731 at the bottom with $1,000 build in that middle section there.
I can explain that.
Okay.
We pay OB Consulting.
And they pay
OB
them.
Consulting turns around and pays.
Okay.
Studio, so that's just their outstanding.
When paid,
Yes.
that's what this invoice represents because they weren't the same totals. Thank you on that. I'll move to pay the last OV invoice.
I have a motion to pay the last invoice to OV Consulting in the amount of $4,747.65. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thanks, Emery.
Yep, thank you.
We'll move on to the Community Center Joint Powers Board.
We encourage folks to find out if they want to attend the party on the Platte. It's coming up soon. We did also appoint a treasurer, Caitlin Olson. She's our newest member and treasurer now. So she's taking over where Dawn Hotchkiss was performing that auditing accounting task. And our next meeting is September 9th, 4:30 at the community center.
Okay, thank you. Recreation Commission,
Nothing to report. The next meeting is September 2nd.
okay. Saratoga Airport Advisory Board.
Are you guys meeting on Labor Day?
Pardon?
Are you meeting on Labor Day?
I don't know. I'm just reading what it says.
Might want to reach out, probably want to reach out.
We haven't had a meeting since our last.
We usually go the next Monday. I mean, for any of our groups, any of our commissions or boards.
I'll reach out.
You'll need to advertise.
I'll reach
the
out.
change.
Yeah, I'll reach out.
Flyer up.
Okay, Miss Brenda. On the airport.
They discussed mowing around the hangars and what, where the boundary ends, where the owners should mow and where the FBO will mow. The FBO said they will just mow it all one time. And then the owner's responsibility after that, they discussed that. I'm discussing getting a flag put up there with the memorial serviceman Shively. Mike Beckoff with Armstrong Engineering discussed the pavement and evaluation on the runways and how big of an airplane can, land there. They're trying to get a hold of Dave Schultz to see what was done with that. They're the airport CIP, they're planning, that was due at the end of August, and there's no projects. No projects for 2025. But the master plan that they're working on, that'll go through 2025. The next project after that is the GA Terminal Road, and that's for 2027 and 2028. And then they discussed security for the conquistadors, and the chief came in and discussed that with them. They discussed the minimum standards and getting the hangar owners' opinions about that. They discussed the new camera, that's been installed and that's up and running, and it will be eventually on our website and the airport's website. And Armstrong is collecting data for the master plan, and they're still working on getting that all signed and paid for, the grant. And Larry from the FBO said the landing fees for July beat all previous Julys on record. And that was partially because of the increase in landing fees for large planes and jets, but also they had a lot of planes landing in July. And that was everything.
And the camera worked great. I had been up on their link on my computer. You could actually see all the people that was up there the day Ellie had the plane in. And you can get real time on it now. So I think everybody's happy now again. Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to South Central Wyoming Medical Service Board, and their next meeting is September 16th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Riverside Town Hall. Is there any new business to be brought before the council? Seeing none, no executive sessions needed. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?